with me out, joining me is the Avenger only one, and that is Keelan Phillips. Keelan, basketball, BA basketball started on Sunday. And some interesting things happened on Sunday. I mean, apart from that, you had lunch and you had to then eat your lunch quickly and run down to watch the first game. But it was interesting. First game of the season was Lakers versus the Schoolboys. And I have to say that Lakers were not, obviously they are not ready. They didn't look fit. And obviously they probably was hoping by the third quarter that the game was done. If let's go and probably start another day. It didn't happen that way, and the Schoolboys romped to victory in the fourth quarter. For the Schoolboys, they look kind of organized. They look organized. They look obviously that they were practicing for a while, but Schoolboys still have the same schoolboy problems. Their defense to me is not as good as it should be, and they will get tested by the bigger teams, but they also will get better as the season goes on. So I expect that they will stick in some people's teeth and cause some problems. So that was the first game. What do you think about that game?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch most of the games. I had a prayer engagement, so I only really got to watch the last game, but I was still following the stats and everything and seeing how the game was going. It was pretty even throughout the onto the third quarter. As you said, it started to slow down based on what you saw, and then Schoolboys pull away. As you said, Schoolboys kind of typically start, so I think actually fairly good because they're a young team. So like whereas older teams may try to work their way into shape as the season goes on, Schoolboys are more likely to jump a team early. Hopefully it won't end up costing the team maybe later on, but they won 76-64. Scott, he had 21 points, 12 rebounds, and Tristan Yard led for Tridents with 19.17 rebounds. So yeah, they hopefully they get better as the season goes on. But interesting first game based on what you saw. So well followed on this actually.
Right. So the second game then was Celtics. Everybody was waiting to see the Celtics team. And there were much anticipation. I must say though, their gear, they won the most ugliest gear for sorry. The gray looked similar to the Pinelands, and I wonder if Charlie was trying to recreate what was happening over at Pine. But I think he missed it on the color because I think there's a little maroon in the Pinelands gear. There was a little black in there, so they had this gray and black thing going on. I ain't really sure what happened, but I must tell you two things that I saw. They shot 100 shots, 100 shots. They scored 83 points. Now, the team turned over the basketball many times. I think it was 20-something times they turned over the basketball. But I think some of the problems that the Celtics have was just the mere fact that they were trying to, show off. Well, some people left teams, and obviously people will come to see how they look and how they're playing together and put themselves on a little bit of pressure. So they didn't shoot well, but I don't think this will continue for the entire season. So I am not too disturbed by how they shot. But I think two teams in this tournament, and they are one of them, and I will tell you about it just a minute later. But yes, they did what they were supposed to do. I ended up beating, I think it's Warriors. So that was game 2. Game 3, the Cavaliers scored 100 points, the first 100 points for the season, and they limited Spartans to 42.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that it's going to be a long season for the Spartans. They turned over the basketball 43 times.
That's more turnovers than points.
Yes. So I mean, they will have a very long season ahead. But there's something I saw also, so and I will mention that man to you too. That was the third game. I didn't see anything from the Spartans that would prove to me that they will, like get monumentally better. They will get better, but I don't see them. They are going to be up against it.
Yeah.
And then that was the third game. The fourth game, the big game. That was the Pine versus Bulls last year's final, and it lived up to its billing. But there are a couple. So here's no what I'm going to tell you. Cavaliers and the Celtics are the two teams that bench is not thin. All the other teams bench real thin. Bulls bench thin.
Yeah.
Finals bench even thinner. Finals even have to go back to people back in the day. Lakers turned up with 6 and lost 1, and having to play with 5.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but of course, Warriors, they have a bench, but I am not sure. I'm not sure. They're still trying to find their way in Premier League. So
yeah,
it will be very interesting going forward. But it seems there will be a top 4 and a bottom 4. And depending on who gets better as the tournament goes on, I can see the Celtics, I can see the Cavaliers. I think those will be the teams at the top. I also think Pine will be in there, but there are if they could get some bench help, they'll be better. And I saw and I think Bulls also is really thin. They're waiting the return of one Keelan Phillips. I am not sure if he's going to be able to help them, but and I don't know which season it would be because this season seems to be going pretty fast. So we'll see what happens, but it's still early days. I don't see anybody looking like if there will be any problems. But some teams need some help, and if they don't get it, they might find themselves in Division 1 next year.
Yeah. I think I might have to slightly disagree. I think Pine might, in my opinion, I think Pine might be the best team right now, despite their bench depth not being really great. I think that their starting five, they remind me of kind of like the Nuggets early up, like in this year, like the Nuggets bench wasn't deep, right? Because it wasn't really using like Reggie Jackson or whatever early up, but their starting five was so good that they could they could just beat teams mainly off of that, like Rashid, Darion, Darrini, CSAT, and then you still got Hall off the bench. So like
I'm not discounting them.
No, I'm not saying you're.
When I say Cavaliers, I don't mean that they'll be 1 or 2.
Yeah, but they be in the top 4.
I don't think they stop the playing in any tournament. Not if they got their core, and they still have their core. So I think they will be the top team to beat.
Yeah, and interesting to see. Topham has a couple other guys. It's just that in terms of registration, they didn't get started yet. So
okay.
Yeah. So I think we got like two or three other guys. So the bench won't be as thin going forward. Okay. And so I just interested to see. As you have mentioned, Celtics a little earlier. I interested to just see how they gel, how things go with them, the style of play that Charlie has them to get up a lot of shots. And Warren's, I think Warren's gonna have to find somebody to maybe like set up their shooters or stuff like that. I think that's gonna be a big thing for them. Honestly, for Warren, a big win this season will be just staying up. Like you got into prime after that. I think their focus is to stay up and then see how it goes from there. Spartans are not gonna lie. Spartans might be in some trouble. Think they might be going down. Cavs Cavs is Cavs. Devon doing his best at being impersonation, scoring 20 points in 15 minutes. So, points for a minute. So yeah, early reaction from for first day, can't really take too much from it. Obviously, when we get to 3 or 4 games, we got a bigger sample that we can really see
Yes.
how things go from there. But so yeah.
Yeah. So next couple of games, we'll be able to
Mm.
see who really, really do well. But I am still very happy with how the season started. I
Yeah.
like the fact that it's going to finish by April. It means that if you don't get ready by the middle of February, you should really be, watching. You're
So
gonna be watching more basketball. So
that playing it. Yeah.
yeah, so I am glad that it started. We'll see how it goes. I don't take a right off anybody, but some teams look like if they will struggle, and some teams look that they will get sharper, and we will see who does what going forward. And that is the BABA. So we'll look forward to see that next week. But the next segment is the NBA, and we are joined by none other than the Bajan Scout. Second segment, we are joined by none other than the Bajan Scout, Alan Pinder, and we are going to discuss the NBA. Adam, the first question: the Clippers, are they the new favorites in the West?
I think they might be. I mean, since they had a really terrible start off that trade, they were really struggling. But after those first 10 games, I think they have the best record in the NBA. They might. So they've been in some really good teams, and the team really looks elite. I think it's taken about 4 years to get to this point, but I think this is what the Clippers were hoping their team would be. Kawhi healthy, playing at a high level. George healthy, playing at a high level. And I think James Harden gives them the last piece that they needed. And this is a perfect situation for James. I know we weren't sure if this would be a good situation for him or if he would really adjust to playing well here, but he doesn't have to be the main option here. He's dropped off a lot offensively. And I think in this situation, he doesn't need to provide that type of scoring. He can just focus on what he's still pretty good at, passing the ball and moving the ball and getting others involved. So I think they might be the new favorite in the West. That team looks very dynamic right now.
What about you, Keelan? What do you think?
Okay, so it is one thing about me. I like to base my opinion on the information that I have. So if I have new information, I am willing to change my opinion. I ain't die hard on. I ain't sticking with my old way. I was really skeptical. Skeptical about the James Harden trade, as we all were, right? I take it back. I'm not gonna lie, they look really good, and I think what Alan spoke to about Harden is he's in the perfect situation where he doesn't have to be the main guy. I think that was a problem for him when he was in Houston. Like, I don't know if the pressure got to him in the big moments, but because he was the system, you know, when it failed for him, it failed for the team, right? And he would have moments. We all know the playoff shockers that he had. In this situation, he's basically point guard, and he's not like the damn where like he's the main option while being the point guard. He's setting up the two elite wings in Kawhi and PG. So they're the main scorers. Kawhi is the healthiest that he's been, I think, maybe ever. I think he's only missed like 4 games, and that's like due to actual a hip injury. Like there's no load management. PG's been relatively healthy too. I guess the biggest thing that you would have to wonder is hopefully they don't wear down by the playoffs. But I think if they are healthy by the playoffs, there's not a team that you want to face because they got production from the guards. Defensively, Westbrook it's not really talked about, but Westbrook has been brilliant defensively off the bench. They have bigs, so they can play big. They can still play small. I think, Alan said after the last 10 games, I think I have the stat here. In their last 27 games, I think they're 23-4. So that would tell you how good they've been over the last couple after they adjusted their Harden and Westbrook off the bench.
Yeah, I Clippers are the Clippers, and they are known for collapse. And I will reserve my opinion until a later time because
You think the collapse is coming still?
I still feel the God collapse around the corner happening. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, they're playing well. In the last time, they're 8-2. The only people that are 8-2 better than 7-3 is Oklahoma City. Minnesota is now starting to hold some hand, and there's no 6-4 in the last time. So they're doing well. I am not going to argue that point, but Clippers are Clippers. We'll wait and see what happens.
Well, like what Keelan said earlier, though, I have written him off early on because I was like, well, I think Kawhi is done. I mean, Kawhi hasn't shown he can be healthy or stay healthy, but this year he's stayed healthy. So
Okay,
yeah, I think if that, I think if the health holds, yeah, I think they're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah.
But now, our favorite coach, Keelan's favorite coach, Doc Rivers, got a new job. Now he's coaching the Bucks. He tried it with 76ers, he tried it with the Clippers. He had one success with Boston. He has limited success. He had some good success early in Orlando. What is your opinion now? Do you think that having Doc Rivers at the helm will take the Bucks over the top?
I can go first, Alex. Look, I don't know. I've never seen somebody who continually just gets a job after job after job, despite the evidence to show maybe this guy is not as good as he was. Like as you said, right? I thought relative to what he's right in that for. Oh my God! I just said as you mentioned relative to what he had in Orlando, he did a fairly decent job with that team. Like they had injuries or whatever. They almost upset the 1 seed or whatever, even though that was kind of where his famous playoff collapses began, being up 3-1 and then losing. But okay, that's it. They won the title with the Celtics. It can be argued that despite that team winning, right, it could be argued that era, that big three era, should have won more than one title. Yes, injuries played a factor, but with the talent that they had, I've seen people argue they should have won more. Okay, well, they still won one. Doc Rivers has had 12 Hall of Famers. He's coached 12 Hall of Famers. Like, soon to be, obviously, Kawhi and those guys are going to be Hall of Famers. He has the most Game 7 losses. He's lost 12 series where he was leading, and he has lost 32 closeout games. How does look? I need to get a job and just fail and then just keep getting great jobs after. I don't know.
So you don't think it's a good move by Milwaukee? You take it.
It's
but any
weird.
stretch of the imagination?
I don't know. It's just weird to. On the flip side, I've heard that Adrian Griffith, like, he lost the locker room, and stuff like that. I don't think his firing was basketball related because yes, you could argue certain stuff scheme ways or whatever, but it's hard to really say it was right to fire a coach that was 30-30. He had the second best record in the West. I don't know if they think Damian Lillard is prime Gary Payton, but it's obvious that the defense was going to take a step back when you lost Drew. The offense is a lot better, right? So that was the direction I feel that you had to go in. And the offense has actually gone slightly better since the beginning. But as we say, it probably was internal, and yeah, they were gonna know.
Okay, they will have to know that's your professional opinion.
Yes.
They will have to know.
Yeah, they have to know. I had a GM, so they were gonna know.
What about you, Alan? What do you think?
Well, you said Doc got a new job, but it seems it's more like a promotion because it seems that the Bucks were clearly eyeing him for a little bit because they had him consulting to the young head coach as it was. So
yeah, you didn't know that
before.
Oh, that is news to me.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Alan, because apparently you didn't know.
Yeah, because they brought in Dot to help. Well, as you know, Terry Scott, his lead assistant, had left, and given all the issues he was having with the players, they asked Dot to come on and be a consultant for him. So Dot was consulting for him for a little bit, and seems he got a promotion from consultant to head coach. So,
That is so weird. I would not take that job. If I was consulting to a coach and then the franchise come to me and tell them to go find somebody else. That looks so.
Yeah,
that looks
yes, like that's the whole
underhanded.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I know I consulting with you, but I ain't giving my best cause I know I just there waiting for them to give me the job. I mean, I don't get that. Anyway,
Look,
go ahead.
I want to say one last thing, Chris. I want to say one last thing, Chris. What it looks like, right? It's like they asked Doc, "Hey Doc, who you think would do a good job as a coach?" And Doc was like, "Me, me."
Oh boy, that is really. I don't know if I would take a job like that. And no, he's under pressure because if he doesn't produce, right, he can get all the labels, all the other labels. Because I don't know how many more labels he get. Get more labels. You know,
you don't have anything to lose there from that standpoint, then.
Because he is what he is already.
If anytime to get out 3-2, I ain't starting to get nervous.
Ooh, boy.
Sweating bullets.
I really don't. I am going to be honest. He lost a lot for me at Clippers. I don't think the job that he did at Clippers that wasn't really impressive. That's the truth. I thought he was good.
Not this year.
At Orlando. I thought he was good at Boston, but since then, I think he is just getting jobs based on that one championship that he got at Boston, basically. And he is one of the older. He would be one of the more veteran coaches that be out there. That is basically what it is. He's not. To me, he's not that good. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, just to go through quickly, it's oh boy, it's a bit of a rough deal for Griff because the narrative coming out is that he was a young head coach and we needed to win now and we didn't have time to watch and to hold his hand through this process. But at the same time, we've seen other young coaches in their first year, like Nick Nurse, win a championship. We saw another young coach in his first year, Ime Udoka, take his team to the finals. So, and it wasn't like the Bucks were a lottery team the year before, or like the AFC that has happened again to the playoffs, and suddenly now they have championship expectations. This team has had championship expectations for the last few seasons, and it wasn't expected to change coming into the season even before they got Dame. So I think they fully expected that he would be a young coach, but they've seen other young coaches succeed even with their learning curve. And so I think it's a little disingenuous that people mentioned that now that that's the reason he got fired. But I think the main reason he got fired, as Kenan mentioned, is he lost the locker room. The rant Giannis had where he was one early in the season where he was like, basically wasn't sure what the game plan was supposed to be.
I remember that.
Complaining that defense is giving him everything. He doesn't know what they're supposed to stop him if they're supposed to be stopping guys in the paint, stopping guys at three, not checking into games, not checking out of games. I mean, even a lot of stuff with Brook Lopez as well. He clearly lost that team. So,
it's unfortunate.
So from that standpoint, I mean, it's a good move in that they couldn't necessarily stay with Griff. I think they're hoping.
I want to add to you, Alan. Do you think that the players knew? Well, obviously they would know that Doc Rivers was just there waiting, and that he would be a better fit at being a veteran head coach than Adrian Griffin. And if they saw that as an opportunity to rebel.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, that's possible, but they were rebelling even before Dot was brought in as a consultant. it seems Doc was brought in as a consultant because they started to rebel and started to give issues.
Okay.
So maybe they took it to another level when they saw Doc was there waiting in the wings, but it seems even before Doc got there, the writing was on the wall. So so I think they definitely had to make a move. I don't think Doc is necessarily the best person, but they seem adamant that they want someone with experience right now. And I think Doc is maybe the best person to get given those parameters, but I don't think those are the best parameters they should be looking at. But they had a whole narrative with a young coach can't get it done. So if they're insisting a young coach can't get it done, well, they gotta go for the old coach that definitely can't get it done.
I know if I was the players and I saw that Doc was waiting, if I didn't like Griff then, I like Griff now. He'd be my favorite coach after that.
That's you because you don't like Doc. Who said that they don't like Doc?
Well, I hope they like Doc when they're actually too.
Well, that is the NBA, and it all be interesting conversation. But of course, we cannot go without having our pick 5. And last week there was some upset. Actually, Keelan and his Spurs actually won the game. And he ended up really needing that win. Win that Saturday. And so Keelan is 3-5. Alan didn't have a very good week. He was 2-5, and it was 4-5. So this week we are looking at on Tuesday, Lakers at Atlanta. Lakers at Atlanta. I get with Lakers.
I feel I want to go with Lakers because it's more so the Hawks have been kind of very underwhelming this year. But what I've realized from the Lakers is that they are prone to go on a 2 or 3 game winning streak, and then they're just prone to lose 2 and 3 in a row. So I don't know which version of the Lakers. I really don't know which version of the Lakers I can get right now.
But you got with Lakers.
I can go with the Lakers.
Oh, you got Lakers. What about you, Alan?
I think Hosman had rock bottom with the Lucas 70 point game. So I'll go with the Hawks there.
You got with
They
the
got to
Hawks?
be in for a rebound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got to be in for a rebound.
Yeah, okay. On Wednesday, Sacramento at Miami. Some people would, they got some people that would be real upset with this, but Sacramento. I didn't declare my heart early. I feel like going with the Kings.
We 3 Kings?
Yeah, these 3 Kings.
I don't know. I go with the Heat.
You're going with the Heat. What about you, Alan?
I feel like the damn mic turned around. I really don't.
Yeah, I think that losing streak is so active, right? So
yeah,
I think I'll go with Kings.
Yeah, losing streak is so active. I'll go with the Kings.
I'm just hoping that changes.
On Thursday, Cleveland at Memphis.
Cavs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cleveland.
All right, so all of us going for the Cavs.
They're playing very good basketball now.
And
I'm Mobley coming back too.
Orlando at Minnesota.
I can still go with Wolves, even though the Wolves are slowing down a bit, but I can still go with the Wolves.
I think they don't see what part of their ceiling is.
I can still go with the Wolves.
So you got
soda for me.
Okay, so I will go with them too. On Saturday, Milwaukee at Dallas. Now, that's a good
one. I think, is Kyrie playing? I'm pretty sure. I see Kyrie.
Yeah, I think Kyrie back.
I think he's out of a big game too.
I can still go with the Bucks.
And more importantly, Doc should be coaching that game.
So that's more incentive for me to get him out.
I get with Dallas.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go with Dallas too. I get with Dallas. I get Dallas.
Oh, yeah, Alan.
Yeah, I go with the Mavs.
Yeah, see?
That is court in session. A very comedic court in session. And for right now, the court is adjourned.